Evelyn stood at the brink of a new chapter in her life, having spent the last 2 years focused on her career and personal growth. Now, at age 31, she felt ready to jump back into the dating world. Watching her friends meet new partners and share their stories had stirred a desire in her heart. The laughter and excitement of falling in love beckoned her back. Yet, beneath this motivation was a cloud of fears and doubts. Evelyn worried about navigating the complex dance of modern dating, with its apps and online profiles that felt both exciting and overwhelming. She remembered her past relationships, some sweet, some bitter. Her last serious romance had ended 2 years ago when she discovered that her boyfriend had not been completely honest with her. Though heartbroken, Evelyn had grown stronger from that experience. It taught her the importance of honesty and openness in love, guiding her in her decision to date again safely. Evelyn approached dating in the modern age with a blend of hopeful anticipation and cautious pragmatism. To meet new people, she downloaded a dating app called Love Connect. However, she decided to take her time, crafting a profile that genuinely represented who she was, an honest reflection of her interests and values. While societal pressures to hurry into complicated relationships hung in the air, Evelyn challenged those expectations. In her mind, dating wasn't a race, it was an opportunity to learn, connect, and hopefully find someone special. So with a courageous heart, Evelyn began her journey, aware of her past while looking forward to all that lay ahead. As Evelyn ventured deeper into the world of dating, she quickly found herself engulfed in a whirlwind of emotions. The excitement of meeting new people began to fade, replaced by a sense of fatigue. With each swipe of her finger on the Love Connect app, a mix of anticipation and disappointment filled her heart. She carefully crafted her messages and selected fun places for dates, but often, the connections felt shallow. Sometimes, she met someone she really liked, only for them to suddenly stop responding after just a few chats. Other times, dates included awkward silences or funny mishaps, making her wonder if she was doing something wrong. With every unfulfilled expectation, doubt crept into Evelyn's mind. She started asking herself questions that made her feel uneasy. Was she ready to date too soon? Was there something unlikable about her? Why did she seem to attract people who were not serious? The emotional toll was heavy. The thrill of romance she envisioned turned into worry and second-guessing, dark shadows that lurked in her thoughts. At one point, Evelyn went on back-to-back dates in 1 week. The first was with a charming guy who shared her love of hiking. He seemed perfect at first, and they laughed as they shared their stories. But after that single date, he ghosted her without any explanation. Another date ended awkwardly as she nervously fumbled with her words, only to discover later that he had similar dating fatigue and was unsure about pursuing anything serious. This constant cycle, the rhythm of anticipation followed by disappointment, was exhausting. More than once, Evelyn sat on her couch, phone in hand, staring at incoming notifications while fighting tears. She felt like a contestant in an endless game, searching for the right person but meeting roadblocks at every turn. It was as if no matter how hard she tried, she could not control the outcome of her dating experiences. Evelyn struggled to preserve her emotional well-being, realizing she had begun to see dating not as a joyous exploration, but rather as a draining task. Determined to confront these struggles, he turned to her close friend, Mia, who had been supportive throughout this journey. During a weekend coffee catch-up, Evelyn opened up about her fears and frustrations. Mia listened, her eyes empathetic. "Evelyn," she said, "it's normal to feel overwhelmed. Remember, dating is a process, not a race. You might meet some bumps along the road, but that doesn't mean something is wrong with you." Her friend's encouragement sparked a small light of hope inside Evelyn. Perhaps she needed to step back and reevaluate her approach. Instead of jumping into the next date after a discouraging encounter, Evelyn decided she would take breaks, using that time to focus on herself and reflect. She recognized that love shouldn't feel like a job, it should be an adventure filled with chances to learn about herself, too. This realization was a gentle shift for Evelyn from self-doubt to self-discovery. Rather than retreating in defeat and questioning her ability to find love, she learned to embrace her journey, accepting that dating would have its ups and downs. She reminded herself that setbacks were part of the experience, and perhaps every date was an opportunity to grow, whether it ended with chemistry or not. As she lifted her coffee cup, Evelyn felt a renewed sense of determination. Embracing the journey ahead, she would navigate the twists and turns of modern dating, keeping her heart open and her spirit strong. Evelyn's heart raced when she matched with Ryan on the dating app. His profile was filled with adventures, climbing mountains, traveling to new countries, and cooking delightful meals. He was handsome, funny, and seemed to share her interests. Their first date at a cozy cafe felt magical. They clicked over shared passions and exchanged stories as if they had known each other forever. With each laugh and smile, Evelyn felt a spark of hope and excitement, something she hadn't felt in a while. As they continued to date, Evelyn felt a sense of relief. Finally, someone who seemed to understand her. It felt like a small victory in her journey. They explored local parks, tried new restaurants, and bonded over spontaneous poetry evenings. Evelyn began to open up and share her thoughts about love and relationships. She found herself expressing her desire for a serious commitment and building a meaningful connection. Ryan listened closely, nodding and sharing his views in return. But as days turned into weeks, subtle differences in their outlooks on love began to emerge. One evening, while they were cooking dinner together, Evelyn brought up their future. "I really hope we can continue exploring this connection," she said, her excitement bubbling over. "I believe in growing together and building something special." Ryan paused, his smile fading. "I enjoy our time, Evelyn, but I'm not sure I'm looking for anything serious right now. I like to keep things light and easy." His voice was gentle but firm. Evelyn's heart sank. They had been enjoying each other's company, but this conversation suddenly felt like a wall was rising between them. As the reality of his words sank in, so did a wave of confusion. Evelyn had envisioned a future filled with shared dreams and plans. She believed in love as a deep connection that blossomed into commitment. But here was Ryan, a kind and good-hearted person, revealing that he preferred a different kind of relationship. This conflicted vision left Evelyn questioning herself. Was she asking too much too soon? For days after that conversation, she wrestled with her feelings. The joy she felt with Ryan began to be shadowed by doubt. She valued what they had started building, but Evelyn knew she needed much more than casual fun. Every date with Ryan highlighted the divide between them. It felt frustrating that something so promising could also begin to feel limiting. Evelyn decided she had to face this head-on. One calm weekend, they met in the park for a long walk, a place where they could talk openly. Evelyn took a deep breath and shared her feelings. "Ryan, I've been thinking a lot about us. I appreciate our time together, but I realized I am looking for something more serious and committed. I want to know if that's something you're open to." Ryan listened quietly, his expression thoughtful. After a moment, he sighed, "I enjoy you, Evelyn, but commitment sounds like a lot of pressure to me right now. I'm not sure I can give you what you want." Evelyn felt a pang in her heart but knew this discussion was vital. Instead of feeling defeated, she felt a sense of clarity. This was a moment to understand her needs better and recognize that relationships require alignment. Though it was challenging to face these truths, Evelyn embraced the lesson. Understanding her needs took courage, and she realized that being honest was a small win in itself. Through this experience, Evelyn's confidence started to grow. She gained insight into what she wanted in love and relationships. Sometimes, the right person might not fit perfectly into her vision, but she learned to appreciate the process and to keep searching for someone whose values matched her dreams. Knowing her own heart better helped her step forward with commitment to herself, ready to face the next chapter in her dating journey. The next few weeks with Ryan were a whirlwind of emotions for Evelyn. While they continued to enjoy their time together, a persistent ache loomed in her heart. Every laugh, every fun outing, triggered shadowy questions in her mind. Their conversations grew tricky as they danced around deeper topics of commitment. Evelyn felt caught between wanting to mold her needs into his world and honoring the truth of her dreams. One Friday evening, they were sitting on a blanket at the park, the sun setting beautifully behind them. Evelyn smiled as Ryan shared plans about a hiking trip he was excited about. It was a perfect moment, but amidst the laughter, that familiar pang returned. "Ryan," she started tentatively, swallowing her emotions, "I've been thinking. Can we talk about what we both want?" He turned to her, his face lighting up with curiosity. "Of course. What's on your mind?" It was a simple question, but it felt like a crossroads for Evelyn. As she spoke, she noticed her voice wavered, reflecting the conflict within her. "You know, I really enjoy our time together, but I want to build a relationship grounded in commitment. I hope for deeper connections and shared goals. How do you feel about being more serious?" Ryan listened intently, but Evelyn could tell his mind was racing. She noticed the change in his body language. He shifted slightly, and his smile flawed. "Evelyn, I truly like you, but I'm not sure I can promise that kind of commitment right now. I don't want to move too fast." Hearing this felt like a wave crashing over Evelyn. It was painful, yet familiar. This moment urged her to take a hard look at everything she valued in relationships. Did she want to keep compromising on her heart's desires and risk losing herself? In the silence that followed, Evelyn felt fire growing inside her. A change had begun. She remembered the moments of self-discovery when she realized how important it was to set boundaries. Compromise was part of relationships, but it shouldn't come at the cost of losing herself or her aspirations. She thought of her conversations with Mia and how important it was to stay true to what she truly needed. Finally, she found her voice again. "Ryan, I appreciate your honesty, but I think we're at different places. I realize that wanting a serious commitment is not just something I enjoy, it's something I need." Evelyn's heart raced as she felt the weight of her decision settle around her. This was not just about Ryan, it was about her life and her happiness. "I'm sorry, but I don't want to keep spending my time waiting for something that may not happen." Ryan looked taken aback, his eyes wide, and for a moment, he didn't respond. His silence was thick, and Evelyn could feel the weight of the conversation pressing down on them. A part of her wanted to agree with him, to say everything was fine and keep enjoying each day without conflict. The instinct to please, the fear of being alone tugged at her, but another part of her felt empowered. She understood that acknowledging her needs was not selfish, it was essential. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting a breathtaking sunset, Evelyn felt an inner calm start to grow. She could not change Ryan's heart, nor could she force him to share her dreams. The realization flooded her with strength. No matter how much she cared for him, she deserved someone who valued her dreams as much as she did. This was a defining moment for Evelyn. She would stand firm in her convictions. The air buzzed with the energy of her newfound understanding. In embracing her truth, Evelyn found freedom. Even though it would be hard, she informed Ryan of her decision and what she believed she needed. This step, though uncertain, brought forth waves of encouragement. It was a moment of clarity in her journey, a leap towards the truth, a foundation that would guide her through the next steps of love, firmly rooted in self-respect. Evelyn knew the conversation with Ryan could change everything. The weight of her thoughts pressed heavily on her chest as she prepared for their next meeting. She realized that for them to move forward, she had to confront their differences head-on. This conversation was born from her need for clarity, a single moment where honesty would either strengthen their bond or reveal the truth she feared. They agreed to meet at their favorite cafe, a place filled with laughter and shared memories. Evelyn arrived early, feeling a swirl of nerves in her stomach. As she watched the barista prepare coffee, she struggled to gather her thoughts. What if Ryan didn't understand? What if this talk ended everything? Yet beneath the fear, a firm resolve grew stronger. She had come too far to ignore her needs. When Ryan arrived, his smile felt warm, but Evelyn noted the slight tension in his eyes. After ordering their coffees, Evelyn motioned for them to sit in a quieter corner. When the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, the moment felt heavy yet important. "Ryan," she began, her voice steady but soft. "I've been thinking about us and where we stand. It's really important to me." Ryan took a sip of his coffee, his expression shifting from curiosity to concern. "What's on your mind?" The ease in his voice hinted at uncertainty beneath. Evelyn took a deep breath before continuing. "I appreciate how much fun we have together, but I feel like we're heading in different directions. You've mentioned before that you want to keep things light, but I really dream about a serious relationship." Ryan's face darkened slightly. "I thought we were on the same page. I really enjoy our time, but I don't see things moving beyond what they are now." Evelyn felt her heart race but pressed on. "I want to understand your perspective, but this leaves me in a confusing place. I need more than casual," she continued, respecting her boundaries even as the fear bubbled up. "It feels unfair to me if we keep pretending everything is okay when it's not." He leaned back in his chair, surprise etched on his face. "I didn't want to hurt you, Evelyn. I thought we could see where things went. Isn't this part of dating, taking things slow?" The cafe buzzed around them, but in that moment, Evelyn felt isolated in her thoughts. "Taking it slow is one thing, Ryan," she said, "but constant uncertainty makes me feel anxious. I want to know what we are building here. Am I wrong for wanting that?" As tensions rose, the conversation teetered on the edge of conflict. Ryan rubbed his neck, looking unsure. "I'm sorry, Evelyn, but it sounds like you want more than I can give. I do care about you, but I'm not ready for serious commitments yet." Each of his words felt like a bolt of ice, contradicting everything Evelyn had hoped for. This was the breaking point. As the moments of silence stretched, Evelyn recognized how much she had grown. While every fiber in her being wanted to retreat and compromise, standing up for herself felt like reclaiming her power. It became clear to her that settling for less would lead to deeper emotional pain. "Thank you for being honest," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "It hurts, but I need to honor my feelings. I deserve more than just waiting for something that might never come. This self-awareness means something to me." In this painful exchange, Evelyn felt a rush of insight. They both needed to communicate openly to embrace vulnerability, regardless of the outcome. Facing their fears led them to discover the importance of individuality and honesty. While it was heartbreaking to realize they were not on the same path, this moment allowed Evelyn to see her own strength. She understood that relationships should uplift, not confuse or diminish her spirit. She was ready to take a step back, knowing this moment would lead her to a better understanding of what love truly was. After the emotional conversation at the cafe, Evelyn felt the weight of her decision pressing down on her. She left the cafe with her heart heavy but also a sense of clarity. The truth was out in the open, and now she had two choices: either stay in a relationship that left her feeling unfulfilled, or let go and seek a healthier path. Over the next few days, Evelyn reflected deeply on her feelings. She thought about the joyful moments she shared with Ryan, the laughter, the adventures, and their shared meals, but she also recalled the anxiety of wondering where the relationship was heading. Would she continuously pursue the thrill of romance only to come back to the same situation? The uncertainty felt like a storm cloud hanging over her heart, dimming the joy that had illuminated her life. As she sifted through her thoughts, Evelyn understood what was truly at stake. Staying with Ryan could lead to more heartache. She might find herself continuously waiting for him to change his mind, pushing her dreams aside just to fit into a reality that didn't match her aspirations. On the other hand, choosing to walk away could open doors to new experiences, guiding her toward a future that could fulfill her hopes for love and connection. One evening, she sat in her cozy living room, journaling her feelings. Writing had always helped her process emotions. As she penned her thoughts, she envisioned a future where her partner not only embraced her but also shared her dreams of commitment and growth. This image was clear and comforting, shining like a beacon. With each word she wrote, Evelyn sensed a growing resolve. The fear of losing Ryan began to fade, replaced by excitement at the idea of finding someone who was on the same journey as she was. She realized that being in a relationship was not merely about companionship, it was about building a life together based on shared values and goals. That same night, she decided to text Ryan. It wasn't easy, but she knew what she needed. "Ryan, can we meet tomorrow? I think we should have another talk." She took a deep breath before pressing send, feeling a mix of anxiety and freedom. The uncertainty was still there, yet an anchor of confidence held her steady. The next day, they met at the same cafe where all the emotions had poured out only days before. Evelyn could feel her heart pounding as she settled into the familiar spot, the smell of coffee reminding her of the tension they had shared. When Ryan arrived, the looks exchanged held both expectation and apprehension. "Hey, Evelyn," he said softly, his expression inviting. "What's on your mind?" Evelyn took a moment, gathering every ounce of courage she had. "I've done a lot of thinking since we last talked," she began, her voice unwavering. "I value our time together, but I realize I cannot compromise my needs for the relationship. I want to be happy, and I believe both of us deserve to find what we're truly looking for." Ryan looked crestfallen, his shoulders slumping slightly. "I understand. I care about you, but I won't tie you down if you're looking for something more serious." They exchanged pained glances, grasping the finality of the moment. "I appreciate your understanding, Ryan. It's a difficult choice for me, but it's the right one. We deserve to find partners who match our visions." "I hope you find that, and I wish the best for you," she said, feeling tears prick at her eyes. But this was not just a goodbye, it was a step forward. As they parted ways, Evelyn felt lighter, as if a heavy weight had been lifted off her shoulders. The choice she made splashed color against her once clouded path. Evelyn realized that this turning point wouldn't just impact her relationship with Ryan, it would shape how she approached dating in the future. No longer would she settle for anything less than what she desired. This experience taught her the value of self-respect, allowing her to pursue healthy relationships where her needs aligned with those of her partner. Moving forward, she would enter the world of dating with clarity and confidence, knowing her worth and ready to embrace connections that celebrated her dreams. Each step from here on out would be rooted in understanding and fulfillment, guiding her toward a brighter, more hopeful future. Days passed after Evelyn's decision to end things with Ryan, and they felt like a whirlwind of emotions. In her quiet moments, she found herself reflecting deeply on her dating journey. Sitting in her favorite chair with a warm cup of tea, she thought about all the experiences she had faced, the laughter, the excitement, and the heartaches. Each moment flickered like a scene in a movie, stretching back to the first time she swiped through the dating app. Evelyn realized that she had learned so much about herself. Stepping into the dating world had been daunting after her previous heartbreak, but it pushed her to confront her desires. Through all the ups and downs, she discovered the importance of knowing what she wanted and, more importantly, what she deserved in love. She felt empowered by this knowledge. In the face of uncertainty, she made choices that reflected her true self rather than simply going along with someone else's path. Yet amid this empowerment was a twinge of confusion. Evelyn wrestled with mixed emotions. Sometimes she felt proud for choosing her happiness, but other times she battled sadness. The ending of her time with Ryan left an ache in her heart, a longing for what might have been. In those moments, she reminded herself that love didn't always work out as planned, and that was okay. The emotions swirling within her didn't negate the lessons learned, rather, they signified growth. Every encounter taught her valuable lessons about love and relationships. She realized that love should feel like a partnership, two people supporting one another's journeys. With Ryan, the connection had been overshadowed by boundaries unmet and dreams that didn't align. This was not a failure on her part, instead, it was a necessary revelation. Evelyn began to see that a healthy relationship required similar visions for the future, where both partners sought fulfillment. Processing her experiences was essential, so Evelyn turned to journaling to sort through her thoughts. She wrote about the qualities she truly sought in a partner: trust, communication, and shared values. She reflected on how she needed someone who recognized and cherished her aspirations, rather than ruled out the dreams she held dear. With every word, Evelyn created a clearer picture of the love she deserved. As she wrote late into the evenings, she couldn't help but feel the spark of excitement flickering back to life. The future held new possibilities and fresh starts. Evelyn began to appreciate that part of her journey involved learning what she did not want. Each wrong match carved a path that ultimately guided her toward the right one, a path towards relationships filled with honesty and growth. The aftermath of her breakup also invited Evelyn to reconnect with old friends. She spent quality time with Mia, going for long walks and talking openly about their journeys in love. Evelyn felt a renewed bond of companionship, understanding that having a support system helped navigate the complicated emotions of dating. Sharing her insights with Mia added layers of strength to her journey. In the warmth of their conversations, Evelyn started to feel lighter. The healing process gradually unfolded through connections, allowing her to find comfort in her solitude. She was learning to enjoy her own company too, discovering passions and interests that lit up her world beyond the realm of romance. Ultimately, Evelyn knew this was not the end of her dating journey but rather a transition. Each lesson brought her one step closer to finding the love she imagined, deep, supportive, and true. The reflections flowed into determination. With hope stirring in her heart, she embraced the next chapter, ready to step back into the dating world with clarity, desire, and courage. Evelyn knew that love awaited her, and she intended to greet it wholeheartedly. After her split with Ryan, Evelyn decided to take some time for herself. She realized that rebuilding her confidence and sense of self was crucial after the emotional journey she had been on. With every day that passed, she made it a goal to reconnect with who she was deep down, beyond the worries or expectations that dating often brought. Evelyn started by indulging in the things that made her truly happy. She took long walks in the park, often listening to her favorite music. The fresh air and the sounds of nature filled her heart with a calming peace. Those walks became moments of reflection, where she allowed herself to feel every emotion without judgment. She began practicing mindfulness, learning to appreciate the now, and letting go of what was out of her control. In addition to exploring nature, Evelyn spent time rediscovering her hobbies. She had always loved painting but had put it aside during her relationship with Ryan. Picking up her brushes again felt like coming home. She spent afternoons pouring her feelings onto the canvas, each stroke swirling in colors that reflected her inner thoughts. Painting turned out to be an emotional release, letting her express the confusion, pain, and ultimately, joy of her experiences. Strengthening her self-worth became a priority for Evelyn. She read books about personal development that inspired her to see her own value. With each page, she gained insights into self-love and confidence. The words resonated with her, reminding her that she was worthy of love that matched her hopes and dreams. Evelyn practiced positive affirmations, repeating phrases like, "I am deserving of a healthy, fulfilling connection," every morning as a way to reinforce her sense of worth. Simultaneously, Evelyn reflected on her past choices, settling into a more grounded understanding of what she truly wanted in future relationships. The lessons learned from her time with Ryan illuminated her values. She thought about how important it was for her to seek partners who would appreciate her whole self. As she reflected, the haze of insecurity started to lift, allowing her to see her strength clearly, like a bright sun cutting through a thick fog. In deciding whether to jump back into dating or take a break, Evelyn knew she needed balance. Rather than rushing into a new phase, she chose to remain open but patient. Attending social events, she was open to meeting new people and made connections without pressured expectations. This time, she would be more deliberate about finding those who resonated with her values. Evelyn also reconnected with her friends, sharing meals, conversations, and laughter. Wandering through the local farmers' market with Mia, they wandered past stands filled with colorful fruits and vegetables while discussing their own dating experiences and personal journeys. Through these interactions, Evelyn felt more fulfilled, realizing that love comes in many forms, and friendships are as essential as romantic relationships. At times, Evelyn would reminisce about Ryan, but she quickly redirected her focus on how far she had come. Embracing her independence gave her confidence she never fully recognized before. The break from romance allowed her to prioritize her own happiness and self-growth, reshaping her identity outside of dating. Gradually, Evelyn felt lighter, and the fear that once held her back was now replaced with anticipation. Whenever she thought about finding love again, it wasn't out of desperation but from a genuine hope that one day she would connect with someone who understood and supported her dreams. She was ready to explore new opportunities, armed with a clearer vision of what she truly desired. With confidence blooming within her, Evelyn stepped into each day filled with optimism. She embraced the adventure of life ahead while remaining open to discovering love in its own time, a fresh start ready for what the future might bring. As time passed, Evelyn blossomed into a stronger version of herself. She emerged from her recent challenges with a newfound sense of self-awareness that transformed her approach to dating. No longer did those moments of uncertainty and fear hold power over her. Instead, she felt ready to navigate the world of romance with clarity and purpose. Evelyn entered the dating scene again, but this time with a fresh perspective. She recognized the importance of aligning her values with those of a potential partner. The lessons learned from her experiences shaped how she interacted with others. She was no longer afraid to express her needs and desires early on. When she met new people, whether through friends or dating apps, she approached conversations with honesty. If a match didn't seem interested in building a future, she would not shy away from expressing how meaningful commitment was to her. It felt empowering to cultivate relationships based on transparency from the start. Setting boundaries became a cornerstone of Evelyn's new outlook. She understood that having clear limits was not just about protecting herself but also about nurturing healthy relationships. Through her past experiences, she learned that saying no to behaviors that made her uncomfortable was essential. For Evelyn, this meant knowing when to step back and reassess if a relationship wasn't fulfilling her needs. Establishing these boundaries helped her feel secure and respected in her connections, allowing her to approach dating with confidence. Evelyn also adopted a positive mindset about what love could look like. Instead of viewing each new date with fear of disappointment, she embraced anticipation for what might come next. With her heart open to possibilities, she allowed herself to enjoy each moment without forcing outcomes. Each encounter was an opportunity to learn, not just about others, but about herself too. She became curious and open-minded, valuing the journey instead of obsessing over a destination. When she met a guy named David at a friend's birthday party, her new approach shined brightly. They connected over shared interests in art and hiking. As they spoke, Evelyn could feel comfort in their chemistry without expecting immediate promises. David was an attentive listener, truly interested in her dreams. After a few dates, Evelyn found the courage to express her hope for a committed relationship while reaffirming her boundaries. To her delight, David shared her views, illustrating that being open brought unexpected rewards. Evelyn's heart raced as the bond grew tighter. She felt joy without the weight of doubt weighing her down. Each day spent with David felt like a step towards forming something genuine. She found fulfillment in this connection, appreciating the supportive conversations they had about their goals in life. Her heart was filled with optimism. This time, she was equipped with the tools to build a healthy relationship rooted in mutual understanding. The transformations Evelyn experienced extended beyond romantic relationships. In her friendships, she became more intentional, nurturing the connections that uplifted her and brought joy. The love she found within herself radiated compellingly within her social circles. As Evelyn continued her journey, she made a promise to herself. No matter what challenges lay ahead, she would remain grounded in the knowledge of her worth. She had learned that healthy relationships are built on respect, open communication, and the courage to act when something doesn't feel right. The experience with Ryan, while painful, became a stepping stone toward a brighter future, providing her with lessons she would carry forward into all aspects of life. With newfound strength and a clear vision, Evelyn stepped into her future filled with hope and excitement. She knew she was ready to embrace love, not with fear, but with an open heart and an unwavering belief in her worth, confident that the right connection awaited her. The story of her journey was practical, filled with growth, and it unveiled the possibility of joy in love, friendship, and, ultimately, in herself.